I spend a lot of time looking at market scenarios. I think about all the variables out there, looking at how all markets are moving, correlations. I try to get a big picture of the markets. Sometimes I stay up at night thinking about these things. 43 years at this, and I still haven't seen it all, and I never will, of course. And I spent a lot of time recently considering present market conditions. Today it seems different than I've seen in the past, even crazier than some things I've seen in the past. I'm going to talk about several different markets in here and tell you, stuff that I'm looking at and let you, see if you agree with what I'm saying or not. And then, come up with what I think is some important trading environment changes that I think we might see pretty soon. So let's first talk about the stock market. We're moving up to new highs, and recently I've expressed doubts about the ability for this rally to continue without having a significant correction. Let's just talk about the nature of this stock market rally. Led by the NASDAQ, certainly. Russell not quite as strong, and the S&P 500 just barely eking out a new high from recent weeks. And really that's because the move in the market's been led by 6 stocks. I just want to briefly talk about these 6 stocks that have been leading the rally and tell you why I think that won't last much longer. Apple has, of course, been a big leader. Recently had over a $4 jump in one day as Warren Buffett said that he more than doubled his position in the stock. And that says a couple things. He said that he was believing in the stock, certainly, but also he has a massive amount of cash. And he's having trouble of finding places to put it. So if you believe in Warren Buffett, he's putting a lot of money into one stock that he thinks has value because he doesn't see anything else. Let's talk about Netflix. Of course, the second one of these 6 NASDAQ stocks that have been leading the rally up and holding the stock market together. They found a back door into China, and that's what gave them a pretty good lift. That was through Baidu. However, you got to ask the question, will China allow that? Will that window close that they found? And is it that good for them anyway? Is that market that big for them? So Netflix, in my opinion, way overperforming what the value of that move into China is. Tesla, another one. There's been articles out that they're the next Apple. In other words, that the Model 3 or the battery wall is the same as an iPhone. That's the acceptance that the country is going to give Tesla's products. Well, I think that's absurd. With $50,000 to $100,000 cars out there that are being bought based on subsidies from the government that are going to disappear in the next couple of years easily, and a lot of those cars are going to get canceled, and the potential news coming out of Tesla could be a lot worse than it is right now. And I think that it is really crazy exuberance that's buying Tesla right now. Amazon, well, certainly it's been the retail killer, as we've seen these retail stocks get annihilated. With 8,700 stores plan on closing this year, it's definitely been that. But only, of their recent earnings, only about 12% of that was retail, and it's extremely low margins. The rest of it is in that competitive environment of the cloud, Amazon Web Services, and that is going to be difficulty for Amazon to grow at anywhere near the rate that the PE is pricing here for Amazon. And take Google and Facebook, it's like, ad growth will never slow down. Whereas if the economy slows down, as I'm going to talk more about, that will definitely slow down. And Facebook already warned that ad growth is going to slow down. So that's why the stock, has stalled out in here. So those are the 6 stocks. Going along with that and adding doubts to this stock market move is the huge breadth deterioration, whereas there's a growing number of stocks in the S&P 500, like a large fraction of them, that are down 20% more from their highs. So there's been this like silent stealth bear market going on underneath these new highs that we're seeing. And nobody is really worried because, well, when you have a 9.6 VIX, you essentially have the amazing amount of complacency, and nobody believes that they need to buy any insurance in the markets. Of course, the VIX is a reflection of demand for puts. And when nobody wants to buy puts, the VIX is very low, and nobody wants to buy puts because they're sure the market's going to keep going up. Of course, if you watch the recent videos of mine where I talk about the excessive amount of margin that the net credit reserves or negative credit reserves in brokerage accounts is at a record, so margins at a record low money available to people with brokerage accounts, and fund managers down around 3% of cash. These are record numbers, and that is probably the reason why there's a big deterioration going on in the stock market underneath what we're seeing as new highs. So all of this is the stock market, and I just want to put out there why I'm casting doubts on it as I get to what is the meat of this video that I'm doing. The other big one that we're going to talk about here, the elephant in the room, is China. And there's they clamp down on credit. They're really making a big move in here to, affect the shadow banking, all of everything that has caused excessive credit growth that they essentially have lost control of. I talked about that in the last market week. And what that has brought is a near collapse, and the collapse in some commodity markets, iron ore and the rubber market, and we've seen it in the metals and miners, and gold and silver all moving down significantly. Gold, though, much stronger, and for our members, I'm going to show a chart on that in a moment. Currencies, they're overall have been weak, not being able to get any real rallies going. Well, the dollar had a little uptick in the last days, but basically the only one is the revived euro currency because of the French election, and that has essentially given life to the euro, and that's had a bounce in there. But when you look at it in relationship to cryptocurrencies, and I'm going to make a big deal about that right now, then the value of paper money is crashing in relation to cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, those are the four biggest market caps in cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, and they've gained some more than $30 billion in market cap in less than a month, in the last month. There has been a huge explosion in Bitcoin from like the 1200s to the 1760 high this week. This is wild, and it means something. There is big money moving out of paper and moving into cryptocurrencies. Somebody is trying to get ahead of something. And when I try to, get the sum of the evidence of everything that I'm looking at, this huge move out of paper money and into cryptocurrencies, this huge deterioration in stocks that I see going on, this collapse in the commodity market, the sum of the evidence is that there is something very big going on out there. The big move in cryptocurrencies, is this the proof of that? Or is this just another tulip mania? Well, massive money is going into cryptocurrencies now. It's not just the little players in there. To move it up in such big money and so much money coming in, there are some big players coming in. And that has to mean something. I actually think that what it means is that the central banks, based on what I think is a deterioration in the stock market and a correction coming that I have recently talked about, this big move out of paper money, I think that all is saying that the central banks are going to ease significantly again. they're going to be forced to based on some deflationary slowdown that's coming out there, probably out of China or out of a U.S. stock correction. And that's why we're seeing money flowing into the what could be craziness of the cryptocurrencies. So I think that the central banks, the governments that have been doing all this quantitative and qualitative easing, and the threat that we're getting out of the U.S. Fed, the threat that the Europeans are saying that they're getting near an end and ready to taper, all of that, which is a pretty good sign that they think that they're in good shape and that all the economies are fine. I think that they're going to turn on a dime in here, and probably after the June period we get a rate increase. It's going to be a while before we see that again. And that the move towards less tightening or significant easing, depending on how that goes, is going to have a big meaning for the gold market. So, I think that there is something very big going to happen fairly soon in the gold, silver, GDX markets. And I think that really bears some paying attention to. So my subscribers, I have already posted the rest of this analysis, and they're able to see my gold analysis on gold and silver and GDX and the gold stocks. I think something very significant is coming. It's great analysis. That's for our members. Actually, if I wanted to make it easy for everybody to see, because I think it's an important time for this and great analysis. So if you want to see this analysis on gold and gold stocks, become a level 1 member. It's no cost to you. Just go to askSlim.com, sign up, and you'll be able to see the rest of this analysis that I just brought to you with our, of course, cycle charting in there on this entire group. I think you'll find it fascinating, and I think this is a very important time. So become a level 1 member. Doesn't cost you anything. In that section of free videos, we also posted our video about the big picture of the stock market and the analysis about the 2,000-point decline coming in the Dow, which I don't think is far off either, so you're going to want to see that. And there's 3 other great trading videos in there that I think will be very helpful to you. If you like Market Week, this show that we're doing, then, on YouTube, just give us a thumbs up, let us know, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then you'll be getting the heads up when we post things, and we're starting to post a lot of video segments up there. So subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm going to the city and I'm going to do a steady show. And I know all my fans want to learn how to make some dough. I've been cruising.